La prima domanda che vorrei fare a Anne Teresa riguarda un suo recente, e io ritengo anche straordinario lavoro, di cui sono stato spettatore al Carignano di Torino. Si tratta di Partita 2, sulla seconda partita per violino di Johann Sebastian Bach, BWV 826, eseguita dal vivo a Torino da George Alexander Van Damme e danzata da lei insieme a Boris Charmaz in uno spazio disegnato dall'artista visivo Michel François. La tripartizione della serata prevedeva una prima parte di ascolto nel buio assoluto dell'intera esecuzione della partita, una seconda parte di movimento nel silenzio, ma quasi nella memoria, nel riverbero di quel precedente ascolto, e poi una terza parte conclusiva con il definitivo incontro tra i corpi e la musica eseguita, con la partita eseguita di nuovo dal vivo. Questa partitura scenica di ascolto, movimento e incontro mi è sembrato il più vero atto d'amore nei confronti sia della logica della musica e sia anche del rigore di ogni esperienza di ascolto, che credo abbia sempre caratterizzato il suo lavoro. Come è nato questo progetto?
Very specifically about Partita?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's different things that came together. It was the desire to work again with the music of Johann Sebastian Bach, who takes really a specific place in my work. It was a desire to work with Boris Charmaz, to dance myself, and to come back one more time to that what I like most, in its most direct, simple, natural form, the relationship between dance and music. Yeah. And to invite spectators to discover both the dancing and the music in the way I discovered myself. So the very beginning of the piece, where the people listen in complete darkness to the music, is, I think, the best way to have a listening experience of the music, but also to see the music. Yeah.
Nei suoi lavori, in una generalizzazione di cui un po' mi scuso, sembra essere sempre in gioco il rapporto tra semplicità e complessità, ossia una complessa e articolatissima organizzazione dello spazio e della scrittura coreografica, che appaiono però in fondo generate da un estremo bisogno di semplicità, per quanto rigorosa, secondo appunto un principio di organizzazione di linee e di forme estremamente semplici pur nella loro complessità esecutiva. Come nasce questo dialogo?
Literally, I like to go step by step, layer by layer. Like in music, I'm very much, from the very beginning, I've been fascinated by counterpoint and by layered complexity and about readability.
Yeah.
How can a material be complex and in the same time have a natural readability? So I create complexity by starting from very simple things. I think another element which, if you speak about simplicity, I think it implies taking away everything what is not necessary, because it invites you in a very normal way to the very beauty of things. I think in the very beginning of my career, like in the way of phase, one could say I was a self-made choreographer, yeah. So I was not able to make a lot. And I worked like in a laboratory. I went, okay, if I take one movement and I look at this like this or like this or like this, how does it work? Through repetition, through accumulation. So there was a certain kind of minimalism which was like nearly a process of research. And let's like take everything apart and go step by step and research on what the very nature of everything is. In the late period, in the latest year, I think it was way much more to do I think what was crucial was my collaboration with the visual artist Anne Veronica Janssens and also Michel François, but mainly Anne Veronica, who sort of 8 years ago invited me to everything what happens on the stage, movement, lighting, music, to consider it in its concreteness and to take away, as they say in French, tout l'emballage cadeau. And to sort of come back to the way I work. When you work in the studio, you work with daylight, you work with dancers. Basically what you have a time organization which generally is given by the music.
Yeah.
The framework of the time is given by the music. And from the very beginning, I worked with geometrical patterns on the floor. Because I have the very clear memory when I started to make violin phase this dance, I had the need to define spatially where do I want to go, and I came to this idea of working on a circle and to take the circle as an old geometrical lines that are linked to a circle as the starting point. So I from the very beginning there always has been geometry that underlined and that helped me to make decision in terms of spatial organization. And that came back in the last years and last decade way much more. So if I take everything away, everything what embellishes unnecessarily, let's bring the things back to their essence, the body, the time organization given by the music, or if the music is not there, we set up a time frame. And a spatial organization which is about proportions and about nearly mathematical precision and readability.
A proposito di contrappunto, qui a Venezia nel 2012, durante l'8º Festival di danza contemporanea della Biennale di Venezia, William Forsythe, ricevendo il Leone d'Oro, ha detto che sì, il contrappunto è certo un evento musicale, ma potrebbe anche essere che l'origine del contrappunto sia nei corpi dei musicisti. E chiedeva, potrebbe forse essere che il contrappunto sia qualcosa che esiste come una sorta di idea platonica, oppure ha qualcosa a che fare proprio con il corpo stesso? Lei che ne pensa?
Well, I mean, counterpoint is like basically about simultaneity. It's about different things happening at the same time and how do we relate to each other. It's about the relationship between those different events that happens. Yes. And that can manifest itself in many different ways. It can manifest itself like in music, but as William Forsythe says,
inside the body.
Inside the body, yeah. But there are many different angles you can interpreter. How do you say that?
Interpretation.
Yeah, interpretation.
Questa sera noi la vedremo danzare insieme a Todd Levin in fase for Movements in the Music of Steve Reich, che è un lavoro del 1982, ma che più recentemente ha avuto una ulteriore vita, una nuova vita, quando è stato presentato all'interno della Tate a Londra, ossia in un contesto museale. E che oggi sempre di più accoglie la danza, cerca la danza e dialoga con la danza. Cosa è cambiato in quella occasione in termini di struttura, di unità del lavoro e anche di intensità?
Yes, I mean, you give the example of what happened with Fase in Tate at the opening of the tanks. But there it was a first step. It was the same thing as I did in MoMA, in the atrium, but it still was like taking the performance and replacing it in the museum space. I think what happened in the last months with the project at the Wheels, the Contemporary Art Center in Brussels, where during 9 weeks I rewrote Vortex Temporum, which is a piece I made for the Black Box. To the music of Gérard Griset, a French spectralist. That choreography, I re-choreographed it for the time and space of the museum. It means 9 weeks, 7 hours a day.
Inside the museum.
not anymore in the fixed frontal space of the theater, a space that becomes liquid, a collective experience where the individual organization of every visitor changes completely the relationship, I think, between dancers and between how the dance is perceived. So that was a very, very interesting project, which for me was new, challenging, and which sort of articulated very basic questions about the relationship, about what is performance and what is dance performance, in a crucial way. And it's definitely not an ending story, but it sort of brought up, really embodied some of the things I said in the speech before.
Yeah.
How dance has to be danced to exist, and how you cannot separate the dancer from the dance.
Exactly. Io chiedo se c'è qualche domanda da parte del pubblico.
L'argomento affrontato nell'ultima risposta in merito alla danza nei musei mi ha fatto venire in mente che Anne Teresa e la sua compagnia Rosas saranno invitate al Centre Pompidou la prossima stagione per un certo numero di giorni dall'Opéra di Parigi. Sarà, immagino, un lavoro, un intervento che si avvarrà dell'esperienza passata di cui ci ha appena parlato, ma mi piacerebbe sapere se ha già qualche idea sul tipo di lavoro che metterà in piedi al Centre Pompidou.
Yeah, yes, in Centre Pompidou it is actually a 9-day version of the 9-week version of work, travail, arbeit, lavoro, that was done in Wheels. It will be, it's a different space, it's the Galerie Sud. So it will be, again, the Vortex Temporum will be rewritten for that specific space of the Centre Pompidou. Yeah. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Just while in Roma Europa presenterà Vortex Temporum in teatro, in una versione
Exactly.
teatrale.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Roma Europa, in Roma, we will do the black box version, which is 1 hour condensed version. Is it's two different. They're really connected to each other, those two versions, but they're really very different. Also, it's a transformational process. It's really something which I really like, and it's a different place to be. It's a different way connecting to the audience. Yeah.
For me, is a little strange because I never have made dance in my life, and this year, for the first time, I make a project, the Roman photo with Boris Charmat and Olivia Granville, and for me, it's really interesting what happens inside me after this experience. Because I can say that my life is going to be a change, and it was thanks to dance. So how can we do to I don't know, how promote dance to every one of us can do it, and how does dance can really change our existence?
So what do you ask?
How can dance why that dance can do this effect inside of us?
Why dance can have that effect?
Yes.
I think because dancing is a very basic human activity. You know, when you dance, you sort of celebrate everything what is typically human. You use your body and you use it in its mechanical way, in its sensuous way. Your body stores emotions. It's always your body is always a social body. You know, you dance together, you dance alone, but it's always in relationship, the space between you and somebody else or in a group. And it's a way, I think it's a way of thinking also. So people have always danced. They danced at the great events in their lives, like singing. Maybe you could say that, you know, when people are very sad, when people are very happy, it's a way of mourning, it's a way of lamenting, it's a way of celebrating, and it's a very beautiful way to express that what is inside you bring outside. I mean, there are, I think, libraries written about this.
Forse possiamo parlare di una questione molto cara alla nostra programmazione di quest'anno, che è legata appunto a Biennale College. Dopo più di 30 anni di attività, di attenzione alla formazione, alla trasmissione, penso naturalmente alla scuola Parz, fondata già nel 95, ma non solo, anche di creazione e tutela di un repertorio di danza contemporanea, perché penso alle riprese, alla documentazione sistematica della lunga vita di Rosas, una compagnia che nasce nel lontano 83, attraverso la produzione di formidabili cahiers che raccolgono non solo le immagini, ma soprattutto la documentazione, la rassegna stampa e così via, a choreographer's score si chiamano. Vorrei chiederle com'è cambiato il suo rapporto con il processo di trasmissione, oggi che ha a disposizione così tanti strumenti per trasmettere un lavoro coreografico, ovvero come si è modificata la necessità di una memoria corporea, o quello che in un'intervista diceva l'idea che la danza si trasmette principalmente da corpo a corpo.
Yes, mainly.
Of your past.
Well, there are different ways of transmission. You know, as you spoke about Parts has been a place that was founded more than 20 years ago to create a place where you can connect the past, the present, and the future, and where choreographers, dancers can bring over their craftsmanship, their experience, to new generations of dancers. That's about education, and that raises a lot of questions about what is important from the past and what you give through to the future. Are there things you have to hold on? Are the things that education has to change with a changing world? I based the curriculum of Parts on my experience as a student myself, as a dancer, as a choreographer, but also as a spectator, and referring to the work of other people, which I found crucial and to share with new generations. The other fact is, as I said, we did a couple of years ago, I started this project of writing 3 books called The Choreographer's Score, where I tried to, together with Bojana Svedic, to explain how pieces were made. Not by filming it solely, but like really going in a very simple way through question and answer, say what were the things that were inspiring me, what are the structures, trying in a sort of objective way to open up the way how the ideas came, how the ways of relating to the music, of organization, of time and of space. What were the musics that inspired? What were the films? What was the influence of the dancers? And that the process of writing it down and having to go back in your memory.
Yeah.
And was not only an intense process of transmission, but it was also not a self-analysis, but it urges you, especially with dance, to go back into your memory and to analyze what are the mechanisms and the reasons why you make choices. And that changes, it's a very good exercise also to take with distance, to the distance of time, to look back on creative processes. Yeah.
And also to decide what you are.
Yes, and the idea was to give it to other people, to give it to public also, to invite people, to give them a hand so that they can understand better the work, and through the understanding that would mean appreciation, but also to new generations of dancers, not that they make exactly the same things, but that they could be inspired by the thinking processes, by possible tools, on how they can define themselves differently from the choices that I or that we made in those times.
Apart William Butler Yeats, what kind of book are you reading now?
I have so few time to read. Yesterday I was reading this book. Somebody gave me this book of Patti Smith.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice. Grazie.